Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to White Dads Can't Jump with the main man, Chad.
Hey,
How's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
We did graduation weekend.
Yeah,
Got great
whole
got
weekend.
great seats.
Oh yeah, couldn't ask for better seats.
Reserve seating right up front for all faculty.
Underneath the starry sky.
Yes, we were at Polk Theater this weekend, which is a historic and unique venue. I actually enjoy it quite a bit. I'm going to be honest with you.
It's one of I think like 4 or 5 theaters that are still like that
Oh,
with the Italian outdoor scenery.
okay.
It's like a lost thing. I think it's on the Register of Historic Landmarks.
I did not know that, but I am not surprised in the least.
Yeah, that may be made up, but I think if it's not, it should be.
Is there anybody we should shout out from graduation?
I think we got some loyal listeners out there. We got Juan, our main man.
Main man Juan. All right. I love that.
Keep an eye out for the mailbox.
Yeah. Going on to do jewelry design.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see where he goes with that. He's going to be the next name one jewelry designer.
Le'Veon.
Yes, Le'Veon. That's exactly right. And
chocolate.
Right. And once he gets the party started, we need to just turn him into the next De Beers. Like,
yeah,
South African diamond mine, vertical integration. It's all going to come together.
Yeah, we could have a White Dads Can't Jump diamond. I think a lot of women would be very excited to open that box. All their dreams came true.
It's the orange in our logo that really is going to add to the excitement of that.
Yeah.
Any other shout outs?
We got PJ.
PJ.
That was a shout out request from one loyal listener.
Oh, okay.
Which we always appreciate.
Well, if we're shouting out PJ, I would like to shout out Danny and her unique pickleball abilities. You had the chance to partner with her on the pickleball court this weekend. Pretty solid performance. I mean, you guys ended up winning, yes?
I think I said the phrase, "You should be glad you're not my daughter."
Well, that kind of sets a different tone now, doesn't it? But it's okay. We love Danny, so that's all good. Who else are we missing here? Who else do we need to recognize and honor?
From the listener line, I think in some of the more active commenters, we got our boy Seth.
Yeah.
And Braden out there. So thanks for watching. We always take their suggestions.
Not graduates yet, but presumably,
hopefully soon.
If yesterday and the day before went well, then yeah, it's really going to come together for them.
Yeah, graduation is always a very interesting time because you get to reflect on your own graduation, which mine is 25 years this year.
Boy,
it's the big 25 for graduation. And you look at these kids and you think the whole life is in front of them.
Are they
all these opportunities?
Are they doing a 25th reunion for you?
No, I don't think reunions happen anymore because Facebook kind of destroyed the reunion. We had a 5-year and we had a 10-year. I didn't go to the 10-year, but I think we had a Facebook group at one point, and then no one, unless I'm not in it, which is a very real possibility.
So you got removed.
Maybe there's 178 members and I'm the 79th. That's not in the group there, but I wouldn't have gone, in fairness. Yeah. So there's that.
Seems like they read that right.
Yeah, because I mean, it's hard to believe 25 years. I can't make that real, but here we are.
Yeah. All right. Obviously, what we're seeing here is a little bit of growth going on for the video listeners. I got a beard started here, but to be
I thought it was just winter.
Right.
Maybe you're just confused on the seasons.
Yes, my face is absolutely confused on the seasons. I told my wife, who likes the beard, that I would grow it out for 30 days. I have 17 days left, and I'm full of regret.
I think the most impressive thing about the beard is that there's not a lot of gray in there.
That is because we have poor cameras. I think that if you get it in real life, you're gonna catch a few. Yeah, 4K off, deactivated.
Yeah, yikes.
But thank you for that thought.
Sure.
So we're all packed up. We're ready to go to Greystone. We're headed out, and then we're going to Grammys in Kansas City. How are you kicking off your summer?
I'm not really sure yet. Got day camp next week for the kid, so I'm excited about that. I would love if we had day camps for adults. Right. I would do that all day long. She gets to, yeah. Oh my God, I would do that in a heartbeat. She's doing some Spy Master camp. Sign me up. I would do that. Give me 6 hours of puzzles and games. I would love that. So I'll probably drop her off, come home. One of my favorite things, if not my most favorite summer activity, is pool floating and reading.
Ah, yes.
So I got the pool lounger that just floats me around, and the jets push me around, and then I put some music on the rock speakers outside, put the waterfalls on, and just read for a little bit. It's really one of my probably 5 favorite things in life to do.
Okay, we will review the full list later. Don't forget sunscreen, kids.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I know I look a little bronze, but that's about as dark as we're going this year.
Okay, good. All right. Well, sounds like we are just moving things along at the house. What is going on in the big bad world out there?
There's a lot going on.
Okay.
As there always is, but there's some things that we learn about later than maybe we should have.
I agree with you completely. Before we talk about late arrivals of news, I've got actually a very current arrival of news for you here.
Okay.
There are AI celebrities that are now performing live concerts. So, have you heard about this?
Okay. No, this is the first time. And I'm already confused.
Okay. I'm positive I'm going to say this wrong. Plave, Plave. So this is a groundbreaking K-pop group that actually debuted in 2023. I'm sure that they're on your like Spotify list. They've captivated audiences worldwide. They are avatars. So
this like Milli Vanilli, but digital.
It is digital Milli Vanilli. There are 5.
They had to give their Grammys back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like exactly. Like the Jamaican bobsled team. So there are 5 of them, and again, not a fluent Korean speaker, in case that's unclear. Eugen, Noah, Inho, Bombi, and Hammond. We're gonna go with, but these people or these avatars are backed by real people. So
so it is like Milli Vanilli. So it's an animated.
Yeah. So you remember? So like when they're doing the 3D. One person we forgot to give a shout out to was last week. Speaking of animation and special effects.
Oh my gosh.
Come on now.
Best episode ever. If you missed that one, go back episode 8.
Yeah. Listen to Mr. O'Connor, who absolutely crushes it, gives us all the behind the scenes access about what is going on when he's actually talking to us from a Mark Wahlberg set where he is doing a movie.
Incredible.
He has Matthew McConaughey's cell phone on his phone. Like,
we didn't get that.
It's in the works. It's in the works. And so, yeah, absolutely.
Could have talked for hours.
Absolutely. We have to pause right there. If you didn't listen last week, you've got to go back and do that. So
100%.
PLAV, again, on your Spotify list, it is guys and girls, I assume, that are dressed up in the ball outfits. You know what I'm talking about? When they make video games and when they make everything in virtual reality, they put on those suits that have the little balls affixed at various points.
The ping pong balls.
Yeah, the ping pong balls. That's right. So they're in the ping pong ball suits, and so they do the dancing and they like live interact, but it's completely avatar. You have no idea who these real people are. And their album Caligo Part 1 sold over 1 million copies in its first week.
Wow.
So if you're ever asking yourself, how can I make money using ChatGPT and AI? The answer is just start a K-pop group.
There was a band in the 90s that were animated monkeys. Do you remember that?
No. Like, was it just top 40 music or what were they doing?
Yeah, they were like alternative rock. They had a couple hits. Gorillas with a Z.
Oh.
They were animated monkeys.
Okay.
On their music videos.
I think I heard, yeah. See, I remember the Gorillas, but I don't remember ever seeing their music video. So that's why I probably missed that part.
Yeah, I think they only had one real mainstream hit.
Yeah.
And there was a windmill. I think it was a windmill in the song, something like that. But none of you kids know what I'm talking about. But
not a problem.
The dads out there, they know what I'm talking about.
So one more piece of Hollywood news that I can't resist before we move on. You know that there is a reboot rebellion happening in Hollywood.
Yes.
Okay. So after years of sequels and reboots, a wave of indie creators is mocking the trend with intentionally terrible remakes.
Oh,
Have you heard of the names of any of these?
the intentional remake?
Yes.
Well, I know they just came out with a new Final Destination movie, but I assume that's
I
not
don't
one of
think that,
them.
yeah, I think that they feel like that's good. The one that is stealing all the headlines right now is Titanic 2, Jack's back.
Jack's back.
The
Well, because a lot of those movies, and especially like Disney IPs, are now public domain.
Right.
So they have like a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. They have a Mickey Mouse horror movie. So a lot of those things, I saw a chart that showed when characters are becoming public domain, and obviously Disney tried to retain the rights to them.
That's all fine. You need to explain to me how Jack survived the iceberg. Like
He got on the door.
I
This is
thought Rose was on the
alternate.
door.
What do they call it in the MCU? The extended, not the extended universe, the multiverse.
Yep, there we go.
This is the multiverse where they've sailed down to Miami instead of New York.
Jack's fine. He's sipping Mai Tais on the beach.
Right, he's got a great bronze tan going on, drawing all the French women.
Okay, I said that was gonna be the last one, but I can't stop here. AI is going crazy. Here's another example.
Okay.
And by the way, feel free to file these examples again under stuff we should have thought of and done. So
yeah, as in you and
I. Like we can type. In fact, Main Man Chad just took a typing test. No kidding. And how many words a minute here?
Let me preface this. First off, the keyboard I was using is not my typical keyboard.
This is like a golfer blaming the clubs.
So yeah, it was a rental keyboard. So the keys, you had to press them a little harder than I'm used to.
Right.
So
it's all about the grip.
Keep that in mind. And the test gave me hyphens. Who knows where the hyphen is? Come on, give me a break. And numbers. They gave me numbers and hyphens. But all that being said, I still did 56 words per minute, but I only have 54% accuracy rate.
Right. So we're going to focus on the 56. Okay. So a startup released Paw Pal. This is an AI-powered robot pet that simulates cuddling, barking, and even
big.
separation anxiety. So, this is probably beyond the scope of our abilities, given that it was like a robotic dog. It's not just software. My favorite part of this story is that people are buying 2 of these dogs. Why are they buying 2?
So the dog doesn't get lonely.
I don't know how I feel about the fact that you knew that was the answer.
What else could it be? That's why I got 2 cats.
It's a robot.
Well,
just unplug the guy. He'll go whoa. He'll go whoa whoa. It'll be over.
But maybe his memory gets wiped every time. It'd be like Groundhog Day every day for him.
Oh, okay. I can't stop. I can't stop. Won't stop. People are asking AI to break up with their partners. There's a new app called GhostBot. Do you know what GhostBot does?
It, instead of you having to tell your girlfriend that you don't want to be with her anymore, it makes up its own.
Yeah. See, this we could have done. This we could have done. GhostBot lets you upload a few texts that you would typically write.
Oh, and then
it'll craft the perfect or hilariously awful, whichever makes more sense to you, breakup message. Ethical issues aside, the results have been pure comedy, and you can find them all over the internet. So
I feel like you're not in a real relationship if you're using GhostBot.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
and by the way, are you really ghosting? It seems like we're texting.
Well, you're not doing it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
You could send them a dog with your ghost text.
So they can feel cuddled and emotionally supported after that.
Right.
Yeah, I like it. The only other, this is the last thing, and then I am actually going to stop. A hashtag sleep talk challenge, napping in public places.
Oh, so people can see what you say out loud?
Oh, that would actually be, that's probably far more clever than TikTok got.
Because I was thinking about the song, you hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, people are now rating naps taken in absurd places, like the
Oh.
IKEA display beds.
Oh.
Behind the
Okay.
DMV desk. How long can you nap behind the DMV desk? I guess those people aren't working. Maybe they don't notice. But
Are they workers or are these just random people doing it?
now
Like we could go do
I,
that?
I just sort of skimmed the headline here. I think that maybe it was a worker. That probably makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And TikTok.
Have you ever napped on the job?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know that I ever
It's
have. Or I
yeah,
never
you
fell
did.
asleep in school
You
either.
like what?
Oh no, I literally had a couch in my old classroom. Never mind. Forgot about that.
Old classroom, not
Yeah, not new one.
old
No.
classroom.
I'm always awake now.
I am
Locked
the
in.
most awake.
Locked in.
Okay.
But the old school, yeah, had a great class. Yeah, I had a couch.
Well, and actually what I was thinking about was I had jobs in college, like I'd work 3 to 11:30 or whatever. 3 to 8, I'm your man. 8
Yeah.
to 11:30, maybe the eyes were open,
Yeah.
maybe the eyes were closed.
Well, the worst ones were, I remember one year when I was working at Walmart. I had to work January 1st at like 7 a.m.
Mhm.
But that didn't mean that we weren't going out for New Year's. So
It meant
that was a quick turnaround.
we weren't sleeping.
Yeah, that was a quick turnaround. That one, those are the ones when you show up to work and they're like, what is that smell?
Wow. I know we wear uniforms, but those clothes look familiar.
It's Abercrombie Fierce, I swear. That's the scent.
Okay. One more.
But can you remember, like, I remember days when I go to work when I was at Walmart, you'd be exhausted because you went to bed at like 2:30.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be at work at like 8.
You're dead.
Oh my God. And then you're standing there for hours talking to people with my little blue vest on.
You were like front of house Walmart retail?
Yeah, I was a greeter at one
Are
point.
you serious?
I was like a utility man. I did it all.
Got it.
I was a cashier. That was my primary position. So I had to like work and ring up stuff. Now, mind you, this was in like 2004, 2005. So, I mean, there was no automated checkout. So you did
You
it
were
all.
punching those buttons.
Bagging. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I made it.
Okay. In college, one of the things I did is I managed a Pizza Hut and I was a shift manager at the Pizza Hut and I was a shift manager at Einstein Brothers Bagels, just a bagel. It's a chain, which they're down here. Have you been to one?
Not here, but they had them. They're up in Virginia for sure.
So here's how this worked. I got off one weekend. I was covering for people. And so I got out of classes Friday afternoon, went to Pizza Hut, closed the Pizza Hut until 1 a.m. We probably got out of there around 1:30, maybe 2.
Yeah.
I was at the Einsteins at 5 a.m. doing the baker's shift, opening and baking Saturday morning. I worked all the way till 2 or 3 in the afternoon, left there, drove to Pizza Hut, slept in my car for an hour, clocked back in at Pizza Hut at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and closed the Pizza Hut that night till like 2 a.m.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was
That's crazy. When you work those late shifts, I remember I worked at Walmart. I do a 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. cashier shift, and shit gets weird at Walmart.
The people of Walmart come out.
Once you start hitting that 11 o'clock mark, you're like, what is going on? I shouldn't be here right now. This is not my
Sir,
crowd.
ma'am, whatever's happening. You got to stop that. You got to go.
Yeah, that's not good times. But then you're like, heck, it's 1. Everything's open until 2. I can get there by 1:30.
At one point, a friend of mine said, I sort of flippantly said, "Oh, I guess we're going to go to this thing and we're going to be in Gen Pop," meaning we were going to have we didn't have any sort of nice seats. We were just sitting down in the regular old seats. And he goes, "That is my least favorite kind of pop." I will never forget those words. Yeah, gin pop gets a little hairy after 11.
Yeah, there's so many places that we used to go in that time period that I would not even dream about stepping foot in or being up that
All
late.
right, do tell.
Well, I mean, just when you're 21, 22, or I guess how old were we? 23,
Like,
24.
you're talking Denny's here?
Well, we would go out. So there was a hot spot called Picadillos that we would go to. Me and Jim. Jim, if you're listening, shout out. And we would go. It was funny. One night I remember specifically, we went like a Friday, Saturday night, and the bartender was like, "Weren't you guys sitting here yesterday?"
I hope you
yes.
tipped.
Yes. Oh God, no. That was our running joke. No tip. And then we would hit up. So we'd hit that place until closing, and then we go to Eaton Park. Are you familiar with Eaton
Not
Park?
at all.
It's like a Pittsburgh-based Denny's, essentially, like a
okay.
diner type deal. So we would go. And
But was it like
I
a
remember,
Sonic where you sat in your car, or did you go inside?
No, you went
Okay.
inside. You went inside, yeah. And I remember one specific night, Jim knocked over his water, and there was a girl that he was trying to get with, and she made him mad or something, and he texted her something along the lines, but he called her Thunder Thighs in the text.
He wasn't worried about continuing the relationship.
No, I mean, at that point, he wasn't worried about really anything because it was a free-flowing evening. That was some good times, yeah. Great times, but God, I would die if I did that now. Right.
Literally not make it through.
You give me one cup of pre-made margarita and I'm ready for bed.
I can personally attest to that. Okay, we are going to pivot like friends here. So I believe that you started tonight by telling us that there are secrets that we keep. So,
oh my God. Right. So if you've been alive for the last 4 years, or if you haven't been paying attention,
we'll catch you up.
We learned this week that evidently when Biden was in office, he had some mental decline going on.
No.
It was just dropped by CNN anchor.
No, fake news.
Jake Tapper. He wrote a book.
What?
Yeah, a bombshell.
To
the book is called Original Sin.
Oh.
Because it's so distasteful and so shocking, the information that was coming out.
Yeah. So what was the big bombshell or Original Sin?
You know, I think one of the big stories that made the news was that when he met George Clooney for a re-election bid, and he had no idea who he was.
Money. Oh,
because that was
he had no. Is that a true story?
Yeah, he didn't know who George Clooney was. That's why George Clooney did the op-ed.
Oh, right, I remember.
Like that next week when he's like, "We need to get rid of this guy."
Oh,
because he was like, "Oh boy,
right,
this is a problem."
Okay." But let's catch everybody up here. What was released about Biden this week was the fact that he had colon cancer. Now,
well, that's a new one. Well, the speculation is they dropped that news to get off the mental problems
as a deflection.
Right, so we're gonna go with death instead of decline.
I'm not a colon cancer expert, but I don't think memory loss is typically associated with colon cancer. So
no, those might be two very different things.
Right.
Because they said, what's interesting, what Jake Tapper said in his book is that this had been going on since 2019, 2020. And of course, the Trump campaign was pointing this out.
Yeah.
And all right-wing or non-liberal media was saying, and then people were like, no.
Yeah, but
this is one of those right-wing conspiracies.
But they were doing it in a very respectful, safe way so that Joe felt like he had the space to come out and really express himself.
Right, feel protected. Well, he couldn't express himself. That was the problem.
Oh, well, there was one hitch in the plan. Okay.
Because if you remember, there was some stumbling physically and verbally.
Absolutely.
And then there was some other just strange, the freeze out.
Yeah.
There's that one instant where he just like stared off into space.
I mean,
for an extended period of time. I mean, he was like 80 years old.
Right. And let's broaden this out because the same thing happened to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell was standing at the podium and froze. And I am not.
Who's also like 80 years old.
Absolutely. That's the point is we are trying to bring levity to what is a serious situation. But I think that the overarching takeaway here is that we need term limits or age out policies because I understand the idea of passing institutional knowledge from one legislator to the next. And so having these guys in for some period of time makes sense. But on the other hand, we don't let airline pilots, we don't let air traffic controllers. I mean, we don't have any of those left, but when we had them, we didn't let them work forever. And so
Right.
why can we not get to the place where we can? And the answer is that Congress is self-regulated. Like Congress would have to make the rules against themselves saying,
Right.
we're going to kick you out. But they should honestly do that as part of just a common sense hearing, because do you really want an 80-year-old doing this? I mean, I think that we've reached a point where we've seen enough of these incidents that we can have quality legislative representatives with and still do well while losing whatever institutional knowledge these guys have.
Yeah, because I think one of the issues is at the founding, the founders assumed that people would come into public office, serve, and then go back to private life, because private life was more beneficial to them.
Yes, go be a farmer,
they go
doctor.
serve, right? Go serve your term, and then you go back to your farm.
Right.
Now, obviously, we have career politicians, so they're there for, I mean, hell, 40, 60 years. Right. And to your point about the age thing, like no board of directors would have hired Biden as their CEO.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, oh, we have a, and if he, when he was running, and Trump's not young either. Right. He's 78 or something right now.
Right.
So like you look at the last, before Biden dropped out, we had an 82-year-old and a 78-year-old or whatever it was running.
Battle of the old white guys.
You know, the emotional connection to that is that the reason why these older people get elected is because people still view old people as knowledgeable.
Right. Yeah.
So like you trust them.
That's that institutional knowledge.
You don't,
but
right. You don't think old people are going to be like conniving, or because it's like their grandfather.
Yeah.
So when they associate that with them.
But eventually we take the keys from grandpa.
Right.
And
because I was talking about this today with an elder statesman and and I said, you know, once you hit 70, what are we doing? Like, we can't let people make decisions after 70.
How old was the statesman you were talking to?
Well, the statesman reminded me that he is also close to being 70. And I said, I mean, not that close, but closer than us. And I said, well, maybe 75. But at what point, like, we got to start making those hard decisions, because these are fast changing times. I mean, you mentioned all the AI stuff. I mean, how are they going to deal with avatar boy bands out there? They can't comprehend that.
K-pop was shocking enough when it was real humans.
Right. How's an 82-year-old going to handle that?
I mean, and as we see time over time again in history, this is not the first time this has happened. Woodrow Wilson had a massive stroke that left him completely incapacitated for over a year. His wife, Edith, great gal, acted as the de facto president, screening the communications. Now, does this seem like a similar strategy to what we're talking about?
Well, you think there had to be, you think we're in 2025. There's obviously access to all types of information today. So hiding something is virtually impossible, especially when you're so front facing as the president is. But in, 100 years ago, how easy would it be to hide things? I mean, things don't come out for years. I mean, Reagan, that was in the 80s, late 80s, and that stuff didn't come out about his Alzheimer's until well after. I think it was like 5 or 6 years after he came out, or after he was out of office, that it came out.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you can hide things.
I mean,
Reagan was old too.
Yeah, Reagan was. And obviously that's more modern. But even 75 years ago, Franklin could roll behind the desk and nobody knew.
Right.
I mean, that, like, cognitive decline can be more subtle, but rolling behind the desk is pretty transparent.
Right. And you only need a handful of the press pool to cover you.
Exactly.
Because it's an interesting thing, because if you look at those, you use FDR, for example. So this is going on during World War II. So obviously you don't want your president to look like he is fragile during a major global event. So like everyone's working together to protect this as like this idea of like America is strong. Mm-hmm. And so you have today's situation where they would be biting at the bit to get any information to say, hey, this is happening. So I think it'd be very difficult. I mean, they tried to cover up the Biden situation, but I mean, he was outward facing too much that like you could just make your own decision and look at it pretty easily and say, hey,
this is what's happening.
This is what's happening. But I mean, even 50 years ago, you could, I mean, Kennedy, to his point, I mean, he was younger, but he still had ailments that they tried to protect because, again, he was projecting this idea of this new youth movement.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Kennedy got elected in 60 and he was only in his 40s. So it's, I mean, that's really progressive for that era when you think about people electing somebody that young.
Absolutely.
And now here we are a generation later and we still have nobody. I don't know of anybody that's on the forefront of the next round. I guess Vance, how old is he? He's got to be in his 40s.
Yeah, he is for sure. Well, and so then even when there's not like mental, even when you have the president has their full faculties about them, and it's not an age thing and it's not a decline thing, you know, you still question how much of the presidency is run by the president. So like,
right.
For example, you had Nixon. He conducted military operations in Cambodia during Vietnam without informing Congress or the public.
Right.
You had Ronald Reagan with the Iran-Contra affair.
Yeah.
Now, again, the Iran-Contra affair in particular, where he is using the proceeds and selling funds to, or the proceeds to, for the Contras, and great Tom Cruise movie, American Made, does an excellent depiction. Did you see this?
Isn't that the one where he's a drug runner?
Well, he starts that way, but he's doing it and he starts moving. He starts running drugs. The CIA catches him. They say, hey, do you not want to go to jail? He said, yeah, of course. And they say, okay, great. Well, then we need you to start running guns down to the Contras. And so it starts with that. And then he starts moving some drugs. He's like, the CIA is only giving me something to take down to Central America, but
I might as well come back with
the
something.
Central Americans have kindly given me a load to take back up.
It was a win-win.
It was a win-win. And then ultimately he ends up flying the Contras themselves, the Nicaraguans, up to Arkansas, where they set up this training base. And now a few of the Nicaraguans ran away. So there are American Nicaraguans that came here on a plane with Tom Cruise. But my point is that at the time Reagan was the president, how deeply was he briefed on that, and how much of that was a CIA operation that was need to know only, eyes only, and he didn't know. So
yeah, I mean, he's a CEO of a company,
right,
of a country. So I mean, how much is a CEO of the day to day? Like you have obviously the CIA is going to be doing things that you don't know about. The FBI is going to be doing things that you don't know about. Congress is obviously their own entity, so they're doing things, and obviously you can support or complain about what they're doing, but at the end of the day, you're not going to know what's going on.
Exactly.
And hell, Biden only had like 2 cabinet meetings in 4 years, so he surely didn't know what the hell was going on.
They weren't as fun as he thought. He picked them and he thought it was going to be a good time, but they just didn't gel. And so, I mean, I get it. It happens.
Now you have cabinet meetings where they have to go around and like pledge allegiance and give like, say something nice before you tell us what you're going to talk about.
What's your favorite thing about our current president?
Ooh, my favorite thing about our
his
current
real
president,
hair. The fact that he has all real hair.
You know, I like his nicknames.
Yeah.
Little Marco. I will never not say low energy Jeb. That's my favorite one of all time.
I just choose to go with not saying Jeb, and that cleans it up for me.
Low energy Jeb, because that was when I moved to Florida in 2015. That was right before the 2016 election.
Right.
So it was like new and exciting because Trump was a wild card, and you're like, well, he can't win, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Kind of the lead in. And when he said low energy Jeb, good stuff. Little Marco, Rocket Man, Crooked Hillary. I like that one too.
He's got them all.
Sleepy Joe.
Those are good. I like the beautiful, amazing. I like when we're describing ordinary things and they become
the big beautiful Bill.
Yeah, they become the greatest thing you've ever seen. That's my favorite.
We'll give you the best ever, the biggest.
Right.
Yeah. It's all ridiculous because you wonder. I don't know. It's still shocking to me because I remember Donald Trump growing up as the guy who would host WrestleMania, or he would be on WrestleMania. Right.
Right.
Or obviously The Apprentice, where he was famous, or he'd be in like Pizza Hut commercials. He was like just a guy
Yeah.
that was like a celebrity, like a D level celebrity that made money in real estate and then worked his way into the media industry. And then the birther thing with Obama, that's how he got into politics, was when he was trying to find Obama's birth certificate to say that Obama was born in Africa and that he wasn't a legit president.
A little late, but yeah.
Yeah. And then everything else happened from
Yeah.
there. Good stuff.
So yeah, I think
it truly shows that anyone can be a president in the United States.
Well, that's true. And the biggest thing we're missing is we're going too far back into the Rolodex here to talk about Reagan and Nixon, because we're completely skipping over WMDs.
Yeah.
I mean, we got into Iraq because there were weapons of mass destruction.
We saw
Mr.
it. The inspectors saw
Mr.
it.
History, can you tell me how many WMDs we ended up finding?
Well, what happened is
you had to be there.
They knew they were coming.
Right. So they got shifted.
So they moved them all.
Right. It's
so then they can find
the old
them.
nuclear shell game.
They're in that spider hole that Saddam was found in.
No doubt. No doubt. Okay.
Yeah, that was the whole cluster as well. Mission accomplished. Oh, that was a different one. That was the War on Terror. Oopsie.
Okay, well, presidents, they have it rough. Sometimes they get sick and sometimes they do silly things. That brings us all to our top 5 list for tonight. We have the top 5 most interesting presidential facts. Naturally, I am going to start with number 5. One president gave a 2-hour speech and then died of pneumonia.
I know this.
Okay, go ahead.
It's oh my gosh.
It was an inauguration speech.
Yes, it was. Oh my gosh, he was president for like a month.
Without a coat or hat.
Harrison.
Bing, 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 bing. Very good. Harrison.
There we go.
Number 4. One president was a licensed bartender.
Who? Licensed bartender.
He co-owned the bar.
My immediate thought was Teddy Roosevelt.
A little further back.
Oh.
It was before freeing the slaves. He co-owned Barry and Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
That's exactly very good.
Really, bartender. I always knew it was the wrestling and the log splitter.
Right.
It's the story.
I mean, he was a Renaissance man.
He really was ahead of his time.
Serving whiskey. 4 score and 7 shots ago. All right, number 3. One president owned a pet alligator, kept it at the White House in the bathtub.
Let's see here. That has to be somebody that was an outdoorsman.
It was a gift from a French military officer.
Okay, well, then that's not what I was thinking.
He reportedly loved showing it off to guests.
What era are we in here? Give me a window.
Non-modern.
Non-modern. Okay. I'm going to go with Taft.
John Quincy Adams.
God dang it. That wasn't even close.
That's all right.
John Quincy. First father-son duo there, by the way. John Adams, John Quincy Adams. Fun fact.
Number 2. One president got stuck in a bathtub.
Oh, Taft.
There's Taft coming in.
That's why I said Taft because of the bathtub.
Yeah, at over 300 pounds, allegedly got stuck in the White House tub and had to be pried out. A custom extra wide tub was installed afterwards. He was the original reason for tub upgrades on Zillow listings. And number 1. One president literally fought in a duel and killed a man.
Oh, that's Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson. Yeah. Old Hickory. He got hit, but he didn't die.
Took a bullet to the chest and still stood his ground to fire back.
Yep. Strong as Hickory.
Strong as Hickory.
He's also on the $20 bill, friends.
All right. Main man Chad, anything else for tonight?
No, I mean, I think this was a good, fun conversation. I think you're gonna be hard pressed to find some lighthearted fun out
It is
there.
always good when you have to tell the listener they just had fun. All right, be good.
No, I had fun.
Oh,
I had fun.
okay, got it.
I had fun. We laughed out loud.
LOL.
There's real LOLs. And are we an Avatar? You don't even know anymore.
All right, everybody, get your P-Love K-pop albums and be good.